Hi, I'm Naomi Movilia. I'm the legal assistant to Candice Anderson. Unfortunately, she got called out to court in an urgent matter. So I'll be here for you, and if you have any questions at any point in time, let me know, and I'll help you go through the real estate file case. Something. Anyway, so to start, I would need 2 pieces of your identification, as I've mentioned on the email. Perfect. Let me just take on some of the information really quickly before we carry on. That is just to ensure that I am not giving you the wrong file. Alright, I will hold on to your identification as I need to photocopy them later. It's very nice to meet you, by the way. It's nice to finally put a face on the name that I've worked on with Kanami and Candice. Anyway. So moving on. So let's just go over some of the files, some of the documents that we've created for you for the continuance of this purchase sale. So this is the land title, which is transfer of land, and it just basically shows you all of the information that we need to carry on with the sale. So as you can tell, you're the vendor, so Doreen Marianne Shelton, and this is the property in question, and this is just the municipal address.
Okay.
So this area right here, this part of the documentation basically just tells us that this is how your purchasers want to be on the title, as the other lawyers have instructed us to, and we sold it for $850,000. If everything looks good with you, I just need you to sign it for me right here. And I will sign it as well as your witness. And then the next part right here would be the certificate that just tells us from your passport and from your driver's license that you're a Canadian citizen. Okay. This is we're doing this part of the document just to ensure that that you're a Canadian citizen and that we're not holding on to some of the taxes, because if you're not a resident, then there's just some extra steps that we need to take if you aren't. Thank you very much. Alright, so the next part right here would be the affidavit of attestation. This is for me to fill in and for one of my colleagues to commission. And this is just to ensure that I have met you in person and clarified that you are who you say you are, that you're 18 years of age, and that you live within the place that you claim that you live in. Okay. So I'm just going to sign it today. And then the dower affidavit right here in this area would just be to assure that, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not married and you're the sole holder of the title.
Correct.
So this is just certain parts of the dower affidavit is it just basically makes sure that no one else has a claim to your land. That selling this would be like, we wouldn't come across any other problems because you basically are the sole decision maker of the property, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions so far?
So far, pretty good.
Feel free to ask whenever there's something that comes up. Okay. And then this part right here would be filled in by the other broker. We don't worry about this. This is just basically telling us that the value of the land is like whatever the current market value is. It's just part of the whole thing because it just comes together that way.
Alrighty.
But it's nothing that we should worry about. Sorry, I totally forgot. For the dower affidavit, we need to do, because it's an affidavit, we need to commission an oath.
Yeah.
And because I saw you sign this already, I need you to confirm that that is your signature still. Do you believe in any, like, do you need any, like, do you believe in any deity? Do I need to grab you, like, a Bible or something? Okay. So we'll just swear,
Okay.
affirm to the best of our abilities. Alright, so you are Doreen Mary Ann Shelton. Please raise your right hand and state your name.
Doreen Shelton.
Perfect. Do you swear that the contents of this document are true, so help you God?
I do.
And I'll just complete your jurat as well. I apologize for that little thing. And this last part right here is just for aesthetical purposes only. It just
Okay.
makes it look kind of put together and pretty, so that is you and your purchasers as what they wanted to be described, and it just shows us for anybody that you're the ones who represent you.
Alrighty.
Mine's here somewhere.
Alright.
Stuck in a file or something.
Alright, so moving on. This will be our statement of adjustment. So as we've mentioned earlier, that you are selling the property for $850,000, and these are just all of the same information that we've had throughout the file. So we credit the purchasers for whatever they've contributed to the property, and we credit you for whatever it is that you've contributed to the property by far. So $850,000 is the purchase price. The purchasers deposited $41,500 by far.
Okay.
And then this part right here is just for the condominium fee. Because we pay the condominium fee every first of the month, that means that you've already paid for the month of March.
Yeah.
And because you only live there for a total of 8 days within the month, and because you live there for the most part of the month, and they are going to be there for 8 days, we only want you to pay per diem, so per day. And this is just credited towards what you already paid
Okay.
for in your property on the 1st of March. And this is just how we calculated it.
Okay.
So you're credited for that. But in the same way, the purchasers are also credited because you won't be living in that property anymore by the time that they have to pay for taxes. This taxes, it's an estimate only because we're basing it on the last year's taxes.
Okay.
So here on the City Online property tax statement of account, we just took that value and give it a little bit of an allowance.
Okay.
Just to kind of assume that it's gonna gonna increase, and it's gonna be whatever the tax is at the time that they have to pay tax. But this whole thing here is only estimated, so it could still kind of change.
Okay.
Mostly because of the tax, but other factors could also be involved. So as you can see, this amount right here is also this amount.
Yep.
And same with the tax levy.
Okay.
We calculated it in kind of sort of the same way that we did the first one, but like in a year instead of a month.
So it's 8. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, so calculating all of that in this statement, we are still expecting the cash balance to close at $808,000. So $808,758.74.
Yeah.
I can say numbers. But that's not everything that you're going to get. So moving on, we have also looked into the estimate of the net sales proceeds. So as you can tell, this amount right here, the cash balance to close, is what we based this on.
Okay.
And we still need to pay some other things before we can give you the total of your money. So it's not something that you worry about after we give you the money. So for here, the mortgage of Treasury Branch of Alberta, we still need to pay out. This is the same amount as this one. So that's your balance as of closing date. And then we also have the real estate commission that we received from Reimer Real Estate, and that's still the balance that they have after we've taken out, the initial deposits and everything else.
Okay.
And then this is just the payment for our legal fees, which I'll explain further in a second.
Okay.
So all in all, altogether, the total that you'll get would be $426,969.97 as either a check or, but I'll explain that further in a second here. So for our fees, this part right here, we have a few things that we had to charge your account for. So we have the fee that that Candace and you have agreed upon to begin with is this amount right here. And then we have a few disbursements. So like when we ordered the estoppel certificate or the title, like things that we needed for the file. It's detailed in here, but if you have any questions, let me know. And then there's also disbursements such as courier fees and photocopies and then their administration fee and stuff like that. So the total right here is just the same as I've pointed out as this one right here. Yep. Alright, so okay, so we have a letter as well that we have sent you. I apologize, let me just grab it really quickly. I apologize about that, where I had to pull it from the file. This is just a letter that we've already sent to you as well. So you've already seen this letter.
Yes.
But I need to go over it with you, so if you have any questions at all and you need to clarify something, just let me know
Okay.
as we go through it. Alright, perfect. So this just tells you the things that you still need to do after, as a maintenance of the property.
Okay.
After we've done the closing already, we just don't release things